When I see a strawberry, I think of tongues is an essay I accidentally stumbled across the other day, written by, I apologize if I mispronounce this name, but I think it's Eduardo Levi. Um, and I read through this essay, and I will have a complete version of it in the description so you can read it, and it's only 6 pages. I really recommend reading it, and I fell in love with this piece of writing, but it accompanied some very haunting emotions when reading through it. It's such a honest confessional piece. It feels like an invasion that you shouldn't be able to look in on this catharsis. It's so personal. There are parts of it where Levi, I'm not too sure it's French, is going through life experiences. I have done this, I have done that, I have. And he's getting everything out. He's almost ashamed of certain things not being idyllic, not being, the way you expect them to be. You hold high values of certain aspects of life, and then he has them steamrolled by the actual conditions of it. And I really, really liked this piece, and I googled the writer's name, and I really couldn't find much on him, and I looked for quite a while. Then I ended up finding a bit about him, very brief bit. French, he wasn't just a writer, he was a photographer. He has another piece called Autoprint, which is basically just photos from his tour around the US. And then I found something that really shook this piece and cemented how it made me feel. I found out that this author had took his own life in 2007, and it's awful, but it really fits. When you read this, it makes so much sense. This piece, you can see a man unstrung, like he's rattled out, and he's emptying. He's getting every piece off his chest. It is his final sort of moment. It looks at the beginning like an incoherent string of thoughts, and it would be understandable to believe it is. But if you look into it, there had to be some kind of plan, and the order that these confessions, these revealings, they dig you deeper into his mind. He starts talking, about what he's done in his life, where he's been, trips he's had, and then he goes on to talk about, relationships he's had, people he's known, and then he gets even deeper into these more shameful acts that he feels, negatively about, and then he gets into his parents, and he gets into the aspects of life, and there are mentions of suicide, but it's unframed, it's unfinished. He says that he had attempted once and considered it 4 times, but then it moves straight on. It jumps to the next piece. But knowing now that he actually did take his life a little while after this, you can see he was a man long set in depression, and this piece it archives his rawest mind, because you're constantly dug deeper and deeper in. He is confessional. He is the man on the last straw, and this was a coping mechanism. And I could only find one anecdotal story about Eduardo Levi, and that was in 2007, 10 days before he died, he handed in a manuscript of a book to his publisher. And this story was a fictional story about a suicide that had happened 20 years earlier in his childhood. But really, it feels so much more semi-autobiographical now, knowing that just 10 days later, he would go on to take his own life, and we have his mindset laid out like this. It's so clear that this man was pained, and that it was going under everyone's nose. He talks of the loves he's had, the friends he's had, and they all play a part into his in succession, but I'm sure none of them knew this was coming. I can't speak for them, but I feel that may be a part of it.